right side, the 10 to the 5, touchdown! 6, going to the hoop, puts it up, puts it in! A fantastic play.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Magnolia Fields Podcast, Maroon and White Edition, covering all things Mississippi State athletics. I'm Tanner Marlar alongside Cody Blaszczak. I've covered Mississippi State athletics for the last 6 years for every outlet you can think of, from the Associated Press to On3 to Sports Illustrated. Cody, tell us a little about your affiliation with Mississippi State. Let's give some credentials here.
Credentials. We're credentialing today.
Yeah,
We've been doing this for months, and we're going to throw the credentials out.
Well, I realized earlier that we've never done it.
Let's see. Covered it for the radio station on campus.
Yep.
91.1 WMSV. Work SEC Network, some television for it. And if there's anything else, I can't think of it.
I can't either. But close enough.
Close enough.
I say all that really to come to this point. We've been around Mississippi State athletics for quite some time.
Too long.
Have we ever seen a Mississippi State soccer team this good?
While we've been here, no. In the history, no.
No. Ever.
Never.
That's because there never has been one this good.
They have been very, very bad up until James Armstrong got here.
Correct.
Yeah, it hasn't been pretty for him, but hey, it's paying off now. I think I saw something the other day that even with them doing what they're doing right now, they still have, like, by far, and it's not even close, the worst winning percentage in the past,
all-time record
years.
is just bad.
Yeah, it's not good. But it's taking a turn for the best right now.
It is.
One loss in 18 games. Isn't that something?
That is an insane statistic. One loss in 18 games to Wake Forest, who many people are predicting to also be a major presence in the NCAA tournament.
They'll be, my guess would be they'll either be a 1 seed or a 2 seed. I don't see them any less than that.
Lost that one on the road, mind you. What was it, 1-0 as well?
2-1.
2-1. It was a 1-goal game on the road.
Sixth game of the season. Yeah, it's an early game, tough environment. Wake Forest is a very good team. They've had a lot of top wins. They have had a ridiculous schedule this year. It's been a very difficult schedule, and they're sitting in the top 5 right now. It's a good loss.
It really is. And talk a little bit about where this team is at right now, because as we speak, they're in Pensacola.
They are in Pensacola. They had a bit of a scare on Tuesday.
They did. We were actually in class watching that game while watching coverage of the college football playoff and whatever else was going on Tuesday night.
There's a lot going on Tuesday. Election, college football playoff committee, SEC soccer, not just SEC soccer, all women's conference
championships going on.
There was a lot going on Tuesday, but yeah, a bit of a scare. They beat Tennessee, the 9 seed. Mississippi State is the 1 seed in the SEC tournament. 2-1. Hannah Johnson netted the first goal of the game with about 3 minutes to go in the first half. Mississippi State later conceded what was ruled an own goal, and if we're being completely honest, they only won that game 2-1, but they did in fact score 3 goals.
They did.
Just
which
one
is
was
impressive.
against themselves.
Which is impressive.
That game goes to overtime, technically goes to double overtime, and Hannah Johnson sends one of the most gorgeous balls I've ever seen in my life in the box to Aitana Martinez Montoya. Nets it in the first 30 seconds of double OT and wins it. They advance to the semis for the second year in a row. They're going to face number 4, South Carolina.
And that's a thing. That's something I want to raise too. South Carolina, they just beat this team not too long ago.
They should have played them earlier in the season, but there was some weather that happened, and
in case you didn't know, there was a storm that came through the Carolinas.
that did happen, and I will say Mississippi State did not look good against South Carolina in that first half. They were slow. They went down 1-0. That second half came though, and it's been the Hannah Johnson show the past couple of weeks.
It really has, yeah.
She leads the team in assists. She had the game tying goal against South Carolina in that regular season finale. Then she had goal 1 against Tennessee, the assist, really starting to come on at the right time. And obviously Martinez Montoya and Allie Perry are always a threat. But yeah, I think this is going to be a task. And Mississippi State, obviously known for their defense. They've got. I don't really think it's debate. I think their defense is the best in the nation, and we say defense wins championships. But they'll put that to the test tonight.
See.
When you're hearing this, they'll be about 30, maybe 35 minutes into that match against South Carolina.
It starts at 3:30 p.m. Central Time.
The thing that worries me, and I'm probably wrong, I hope I am at least, I fear that playing this Mississippi State team twice is going to make it harder on them.
I was about to say, I mean, you look, this is a team that when I say just played, Mississippi State ended its season against South Carolina.
I mean, it was 7 days ago.
And now plays South Carolina again.
That South Carolina game was October 30th. So like 7-8 days ago.
Yeah.
My fear is playing a team twice. It's hard to beat them twice in a year. But we'll see what the defense can do. South Carolina's got a great offense. And really, you go to the championship, you're playing Arkansas or Texas. And they're no joke.
No jokes. State was able to beat those two teams during the regular season. But as you said, playing a team twice, it's hard to beat a team twice. It's really, really hard to beat them 3 times. Very difficult still to beat them twice.
I think you're going to see... I think State will come out with the win. I think, however, you will see something very similar to Tennessee. I'm not sure that they're going to score more than 1 goal, but I'm just not sure that. Well, I'm not sure South Carolina is going to. This is a team in Mississippi State that I can confidently say they will not. They can shut out any team in the nation. They've allowed 5 goals through 18 games. 14 shutouts because Wake Forest scored 2.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, and they really didn't allow a point against Tennessee.
Yeah, but it still counts.
Still counts as one allowed, but it was an own goal.
It was. And it wasn't. I mean, there was pressure from Tennessee. You have to give Tennessee credit. They put pressure on that back line and all of that. I think it'll be interesting. I think the SEC tournament, as it's wrapping up, regardless what Mississippi State does, is going to be really fun to watch because it is the 4 best teams. They all advanced 1 through 4 seeds. They will all be in the NCAA tournament. I would imagine, my guess is at least, that all 4 of those teams will also host at least the first round.
Yeah, and I was going to say, that kind of brings me to my next point and last point for this segment. Mississippi State obviously probably going to host. What do you think the attendance number looks like there? Because they set the record in the final home game against Kentucky.
Well, they set the record like 4 times.
They set it like 4 times this season.
They set it with Arkansas, then they set it with Missouri. Yeah, they set it a bunch of times, but I imagine it will continue to grow, especially when you get deeper into the tournament because they can host all the way up until the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
The quarterfinals is the last round they can host, and then they win that. They go to, I believe, North Carolina for the semis and then the championship if they were to get there. I imagine they would, my guess is around 3,500 people if they were to make the quarters. It might even be at 4.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the likelihood of them breaking 4,000?
If you make the quarters, I think it's very high.
I'd agree. I'd love to see that.
4,000 at Soccer here? Absolutely. That would be incredible.
Absolutely. Well, it's not just soccer season. It's also basketball season. If officially now, we're here. We've made it to college basketball season. It's my favorite time of year, and we're going to talk about it right after this break here on the Magnolia Fields podcast from the Richard Schwartz and Associates studios. We'll catch you guys right after these messages.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, you know who to call. Call me. Remember, 1 call, that's all.
Welcome to the Richard Schwartz and Associates Magnolia Field Studios. 1 call, that's all.
Back here from the Richard Schwartz and Associates Studios, Tanner Marlar alongside Cody Blaszczak. If you're just joining us, We just kind of recapped everything that this Mississippi State soccer team has been able to accomplish thus far, what they could accomplish going forward. And now, let's talk expectations a little bit. Mississippi State men's basketball played its first game of the season on Monday night. I watched it, wasn't able to go in person. Best believe I'll be watching just about every game this team plays from here on out. Cody, I believe you watched it as well. What'd you like? What didn't you like?
Well, I got a phone call after that game ended. And by the sounds of it, Josh Hubbard is going to win the Naismith Player of the Year.
I think he should.
I think
Josh Hubbard is posterizing people now. He I think it was like 7 for 9 or something like that from deep. It was
6 for 7.
Yeah, 6 for 7 from deep. It was insane.
Yeah, we knew the kid was good. But when a guy like that starts dunking, that's a bit frightening.
Because look, Josh Hubbard may be listed as 5'10", 5'11". He's not.
He's not.
He's just not. And that's okay because he does
He's listed as 5'11", 190.
Okay, he may be 190. He might be
5'11".
But he's not 5'11". And here's the thing. That's okay because he's got a 50-inch vertical.
Yeah.
And he wasn't just like struggling to dunk either. Like he did it pretty easily.
He will be a lot of fun to watch this season.
He will be. And I was impressed with Kanye Clary. I thought he didn't do a lot on the box score, right? Not a lot of points, everything like that. Man, is he quick.
He is.
And I thought he played fantastic. I thought him and Hubbard both got after it defensively. Now, West Georgia just moved up to Division I. Not exactly a powerhouse by any sense of the word. But you liked what you saw out of the guard rotation.
Well, and like you said, you didn't see a lot of offense from Clary, but what I liked was his defensive presence.
Yeah.
I thought he played really good defense. And the one thing we kind of last year harped on as a flaw with Josh Hubbard, although there are not many of them, was his defensive abilities. So it's kind of, at least as of game one, it was kind of a trade-off, which I think you'll take. But, overall impressed with this team. Even Claudel Harris Jr.
Well, I was about to say, Claudel Harris Jr. looking like he could be a reliable. Now, granted, I want to remind you, Cody, not to get too, and I reminded the On3 message board about this. There was a player last year who scored 21 points in the season's opening game. Would you like to guess who that player was?
Tell me.
Trey Fort.
Yes, it was.
Would you like to guess who he's playing for now?
Tell me.
UT Martin. That's not a coincidence.
No, it's not. But you still hope for the best.
You do. And I'll say this for Harris. Fort came in out of the JUCO ranks, right? Claudel Harris is coming out of the ACC, a Boston College team, which he was kind of the big shot taker and maker for, right? Now, obviously, stepping into a more off-ball role, a role that I think could benefit him greatly. The question is, how do you use him? I saw a lot of people clamoring for him to start, and I don't think that's the right move right now. I think that there are plenty of scoring options in that starting lineup between Keyshawn Murphy, between Josh Hubbard, Kanye Clary. I think that's pretty solid. Cameron Matthews. I think you've got scoring in that starting lineup. You know where you don't have scoring right now, or at least unproven scoring? Off the bench.
I will say, I think we will see him start from time to time early in the season, just as you're trying to figure out that rotation.
Yeah, because and that's another thing is these first few games are all figuring out lineups.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing, and maybe that's something that's taken into account. We need someone that can come off the bench, score 10, 15 points, whatever it may be. But as of game one, also on top of the fact that I've been saying it for the past however many days, Sean Jones Jr. jumped over
Sean Jones Jr. did jump over, man. Now, look, Sean Jones Jr. does some things on the court that will make you scratch your head. But then he will do some things that should not be humanly possible.
I have said this since he's been here and came off the bench as a freshman. That dude is my favorite player. He is so much, like you said, he does some things where you scratch your head.
A lot.
But when he's not doing that,
man,
he is
he's fun to watch.
Kid. And Josh Hubbard's fun to watch. But there's something about Sean Jones. I don't know if it's the story,
energy guy,
or what it is, but he jumped over a dude.
He's freakishly athletic. He brings energy. I like him.
He's a guy that I feel like you rely on just to hype a team up.
Fair. And I feel like he's a fun guy to play with.
I imagine he is.
I feel like he's a fun guy to play with.
Might be a guy that you scream at every once in a while, but
You got to have one.
Yeah.
You got to have one. Next game for the men against Georgia State on Friday. I will say this, and this is my last piece on this men's team until we watch them on Friday. People were upset. Yeah, tomorrow. People were upset that Mississippi State did not look fantastic in the rebounding category. Allow me to remind you that there was one thing that Tolu Smith did very well. Because anybody that's going to tell me he was a consistent scorer, you're a liar. Okay? Anybody that's going to tell me that he could consistently play above the rim, you're a liar. He couldn't. Never could, and that's okay. He could always rebound well. Keyshawn Murphy's not going to be that. Nwako's not going to be that. But here's what they're going to do. They're going to get out in space, run the floor. They're probably not going to take 50 post-entry passes a game and wind up turning it over half the time trying to make an outlet pass. They're going to rebound to the best of their physical abilities. And the thing with rebounding is it's 80% effort. I think it will be corrected. Keep in mind, Cameron Matthews was basically absent for that entire first half because he picked up 2 early fouls. Don't panic. Calm down. Breathe. It's game 1.
Also, remember, they had another 7-footer in Jimmy Bell.
Yeah.
So you lose. They were 2 physical dudes, too, especially when it came to rebounding.
They were. They rebounded well.
That did not worry me. What worried me is the glimpses or the glimpse of last season that I saw in the first half when they were up by
when they went on like a 10-minute drought without scoring.
That is what worried me. And, yes, I understand it's game 1, but I don't like seeing that, period. I don't care if it's game 1. I don't care if it's against a Division III school.
No.
Or the best team in the nation. I do not like that because that was some of the issues last year. That needs to be eliminated.
But the thing is, and I will always say this about a Chris Jan's team, during that stretch, they play good enough defense where they don't allow like that 20-0 run, right? It's a 10-0 run, something like that. And you can claw your way back from that.
Yeah, but it wasn't pretty. It was, you're right. It wasn't 20-0, but they turned like a 16-point game into a 2-point game.
They did.
I don't like that. That worries me. And again, game 1, I know. I do not like seeing that at all.
That part is fair to be worried about. Worrying about rebounding right now is does not remotely need to be a concern.
No, I don't think. Yeah. There's no reason to worry about it. Streaky scoring is a lot harder to fix than rebound.
100%.
You've got the ability to rebound with this team. Streaky scoring is a different story.
100%. Like we said, they tip off against Georgia State tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. on the SEC Network. Plus, I will be watching.
I imagine a lot of people will be watching. There's a lot of hype around this team this year, and rightfully so, especially Josh Hubbard coming back, what he did in his freshman year last year. I will say, though, there have been, the past couple of years with Chris Jans, really good team, really good defensive team. All credit to him. I'm not trying to say anything negative to him. This is a year, though, that I look at the non-divisional, non-SEC schedule, and I think to myself, you really should not lose a single game. There are a couple
Utah,
that you can
SMU.
There are a couple that you can
Pittsburgh.
make. There are a couple you can make an argument.
Memphis.
But as you come into the season, I
mean,
think
you should definitely enter.
Hard.
You should enter conference play with 1 to 2 losses max. 1 to 2 max, and that's saying you lose to an SMU. That's saying you lose to a Utah or a Pittsburgh, even though I don't think they lose those games.
The only games I can argue justifying a loss to, and I still have a hard time doing that, are Pittsburgh and Memphis.
And that's another thing. I could see Memphis. SMU's not going to be bad, man.
I don't think they're going to be bad, but I don't think they've got a roster like Mississippi State.
You're also playing that one in Dallas.
You are, but you're the one that time and time again.
Defense travels.
You
should, and I'm not saying State should lose it. State should win it, but I'm not going to hit the panic button if they don't.
No, I'm not saying panic. I'm just saying that it feels like you should not have any going into conference play, any losses. In theory.
I'm always going to give a 1 to 2 buffer because this is college basketball.
It is college basketball.
I mean, anything can happen. You think North Florida is better than South Carolina?
No, I don't.
Exactly. Like, I just don't. That it doesn't equate.
We
to
also don't know. South Carolina could be really bad. They probably aren't.
I don't think they're losing to North Florida bad.
No, I don't either.
But we'll see. Even though they did. All right, we're gonna come back on the other side of this break and talk some women's hoop. And Cody, I am so excited for this women's team, and I'll tell you why here in just a moment on the Magnolia Fields podcast. We'll catch you after these messages from the Richard Schwartz and Associates Studios.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, you know who to call. Call me. Remember, one call, that's all.
Welcome back to the Magnolia Field Studios, brought to you by Richard Schwartz and Associates. One call, that's all.
Welcome back to the Richard Schwartz and Associates Studios and the Magnolia Fields podcast, Maroon and White Edition. Tanner Marlar alongside Cody Blaszczak. We just got done going over everything men's hoops right now. It's women's time. It's the girls' time to shine, and Cody, shine, I think they will do.
I hope.
I have a lot of confidence in this team.
I do too, and we had a lot of confidence last year, and they were a good team, but they went on such a bad
They went on a bad skid.
And that's, I don't think that's going to happen again. I really don't. I think Sam Purcell is a incredible coach.
I do too.
And I think he has done a lot for this program, and I don't think that will ever happen under his tenure ever again unless he has a bunch of injuries midway through a season or something. Otherwise, I think there was a lot to come from these women's basketball teams at Mississippi State. One, because Sam Purcell is a really good coach. Two, my Lord, the recruiting trail he has been on is something else.
It is insane. Obviously, 3 top 100 recruits coming in out of this next cycle, but I look at this roster that he's got right now, and I get excited, right? Jerkaila Jordan, you get her back. One of the best players in the SEC, bar none. One of the best guards in the SEC, period. Okay? Then I look at who they added, right? And I've heard this name in so many circles. And people tell me, Tanner, you don't understand how good this girl can be. Medina Okot, listed at 6'6", has the longest wingspan on the team. I mean, her wingspan is insane. It's 6'10".
My Lord.
She has a 10'3" approach height on her vertical. And she's never been in a college weight program. Medina Okot could be consistently dunking a basketball by the time she leaves Mississippi State.
And I think that is something no one here will oppose.
No.
They would gladly take that.
I mean, it's insane.
The good thing is she is only a junior.
I can't wait.
You get
Played for Kenya's 3x3 FIBA team, right? The senior FIBA team. I mean, the accolades are insane. I've heard that she has been the best player in the scrimmages. Keep in mind, Jerkaila Jordan has been on the floor. Debrisha Poe, who I'll get to in a second, has been on the floor.
Like we said, on paper, it's a very, very talented team that should have a very solid season.
It is. I mean, you've got the height, you've got the guards. Wow.
It brings me back to one thing, though. Yes, they look talented. Yes, they should have a good season. But Tanner, in your lifetime of Mississippi State athletics, specifically basketball, there were some years ago where you saw one of the most talented teams you thought you had ever seen, at least for the men's side, and they ended up fighting in the first couple games of the season.
They did. Now, I'm assuming you're talking about the Bernardo.
Yes.
Yeah. Or not Bernardo.
Now, I'm not saying
Bernardo Sydney. Now, look, here's the thing with that team. That team had some locker room issues. I don't get that from this team, and I'll tell you why. I got to talk to Debrisha Poe, I did. We sat down for a one-on-one. The story is out there on MississippiScoreboard.com. Feel free to go look at it. I really enjoyed the conversation, but Blaszczak speaks so highly of this team, and it sounds to me like it's about to be an incredible change of pace, because for the last few seasons, the offense has been run through Jessica Carter, right? We know that. Jessica Carter was a fantastic player for Mississippi State. She'll go down in history. She'll probably be in the Mississippi State Hall of Fame. During her years in the SEC, she had some really good bigs to contend against and some really good forwards to contend against. Rakia Jackson, who transferred from Mississippi State to play at Tennessee. Angel Reese, who was really good at LSU, right? It's hard to compete against those kind of forwards when you're running the same offense through your center. That doesn't have to happen anymore. I think this team is much more adaptable to whatever the other team is throwing at them.
And I think even you saw that a little bit last year too. I think that they have the ability to play however you want to. If you want to play around the perimeter, you can. If you want to get down low, you can do that. I think it's a very versatile group.
I agree. And obviously going to be spearheaded by Poe and Jerkaila Jordan.
And I think that's the scary part. We've seen what Jerkaila Jordan can do. I mean, if she wants to drive, she'll drive.
Yeah.
If she wants to shoot it from 40 out, she'll shoot it from 40 out.
She started all 97 games that she's played at Mississippi State for a reason. I mean, just ridiculous.
Very talented.
Yeah. I mean, 2024 all SEC second team. She's just really, really, really good.
Yeah,
shooting for that first team spot this year.
And I would imagine, I mean, all she has done is improve every single season.
Year.
There's been no decline. It's always gone up.
And I'm going to quote Sam Purcell here. I'm going to say it exactly like he would say it. So I'm going to back away from the mic for a moment. Dwayne Wade. She's like D Wade, dude. She plays like Dwayne Wade. Okay? She's good. I can't wait. I'm excited. Women's team opens play against Memphis. I think State takes that one. Memphis men's program, pretty scared to see them on the schedule. Women's program,
That's today. That's today in like 2 hours.
Yeah, that game tips off 6:30.
Correct. Yeah, so we're about 2 hours away from tip-off for that.
We're going to be trying to keep up with that while we are at Tupelo Starkville.
There's a lot we have to keep up with.
There really is.
The girls' team for soccer and basketball.
Guys' team tomorrow.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And there is a football game. Or there's some football games around the country we got to watch.
Oh, that's true. Yes.
I mean, it's still football Saturday. Although we try not to acknowledge its existence in Starkville these days. We got about 2 minutes left. And we promised our producers we would talk about this if we had time. And I think we have just enough time. The idea has been floated around the office of a small gathering in which the people employed here at MaxxSouth Sports play basketball on 8-foot rims. Is there anyone you'd like to call out right now?
I thought we said 8.5.
8.5. 8.5. 8.5.
Or was it? We're going that short?
If we're going 8-foot rims, I'm putting my elbow in it.
And you will hurt someone or yourself.
More than likely myself.
Is there someone I would like to call out?
Yeah.
As far as what?
Just one-on-one on the 9-foot, on the 8.5, 9-foot rim.
Can I coach them?
No, you got to play them.
I don't know if I can.
You got it. Calvin Ritchie is out there. Okay.
If you want me to play Calvin, I'll play Calvin.
I want to see it. I
will say this. If I get first possession, I might win. If he does, he will blow by me every time.
I got winner.
My body ain't moving real well these days.
I got winner. I got the winner.
How about y'all go at it, and I'll take the winner of that.
That's not. But we need seeding. I'll be the 1 seed.
Why are you the 1 seed?
Because I said I was the 1 seed.
What about the producers? What if they want to be the 1 seed?
They don't have the microphone in front of them. They can't let us know. We have the microphone.
How about this? If we're going to do 8.5-foot goalposts or rims,
8.5 is going to be dangerous.
How about we just do a dunk contest?
Now, that I could get behind. If you want to see a MaxxSouth Sports dunk contest, 1, send us your high school jerseys because we need them. 2, 2, Leave it in the comments.
Or even better, how about just like a skills challenge? We do a skills challenge, a dunk contest,
What if
and a 3-point contest.
MaxxSouth Sports All-Star Weekend.
Because I'm just not sure, even if we were to play half court, I can make it up and down the half court.
MaxxSouth Sports All-Star Weekend. You heard it here first. It's happening. Put it in stone. That's about all the time we've got. As always, thanks for joining us here on the Magnolia Fields Podcast, Maroon and White Edition from the Richard Schwartz Associate Studios. We'll catch you guys in a couple weeks.